to Everyday Questions with Eve, a platform where I give quick, fast-fire answers to your questions sent to me online. Thank you for watching and thank you for sharing the video. I have received lots of questions, and on this platform I might not be dealing with your question, and that's because I deal with them on first come, first serve basis. I will get to your question eventually. Today's question is, does God really want us to wait till we are married to have sex? Isn't that unrealistic? Nobody does it. Sex is quite a big topic, and I'm just going to try and, answer this question, talk a little bit about, the question I have been asked, and this took me to research. I actually did a little bit of research to find out, what answers, I'll be given on this platform. First, I want to say that God wants us to wait to have sex in marriage. After all, He ordained marriage and He invented sex. And sex is God's idea. So God invented sex for marital intimacy. I think I need to establish that. Few people talk about sex, but many partake in it. Many engage in the act, but it's not a topic that most people find comfortable to talk about. And that is why many are not applying God's standard and principles to their sexual life. There are negative consequences when you don't wait, until you are married to have sex. And I told you, I did some research, and I'm just going to go into those research. And I just hope that, this is going to be very informative. Science say when a woman sleeps with a man, she releases oxytocin. This is a hormone, causing bonding to occur between her and her partner. Research shows that the more partners she sleeps with, the less oxytocin she produces. And this hinders her ability to bond and connect with her husband when she eventually gets married. So the problem is, many people have slept with multiple partners outside of marriage. And this results in soul ties and imprints with ex-partners. And I will explain about the imprints as I go on. But first, I'd like to talk about soul ties. A soul tie is an emotional bond or common connection that unites you with someone else. Why the Bible say marriage and sex involve a living and a cleaving. And when there's a living and there's a cleaving going on, there is bonding going on. This is in Genesis 2:24. You then become one flesh with your partner, and you're no longer two but one. And that is bonding. When you now have sex with multiple partners outside of marriage, you bond and you become one flesh with them. When you now get married, you begin to compare your past sexual experiences with your sexual experience in your marriage. Because of imprinting, and I'll tell you what imprinting is when you recall your past sexual experiences. You don't actually forget about these experiences that you have had in the past, and now you are in a marital relationship, which is exclusive. Imprinting is when your brain takes a photograph of information, in other words, sexual information, which glues to your brain and your body. It begins to act like a memory chip. For example, if you start, if you start having sexual relationship early, or you go into sexual experience as a result of lust, like a one-night stand, you imprint on the sex, not the girl or the man. So it was much, about the sex. So what happens is, as you mature, you try to recreate those early sexual experiences because of soul ties, imprinting, and the glued information. Because sex is not just a physical act, but a spiritual act. Also, people who have been in an abusive relationship with their sexual partners, will have a negative imprinted memory of their experiences. And they either pursue destructive relationships or withdraw altogether from any form of relationship because of hurt, because of bad experiences. However, a glue of sexual information is good when it occurs in your marriage. Research shows that a woman has a higher than average risk of developing cervical cancer. Did you hear that? If she has had multiple sexual partners, if she began having sexual relations before the age of 18, if she has a partner who has had sexual contact with a woman with cervical cancer. Wow, that is research for you. This has been studied, it's been researched, so these are facts, not just assumptions. However, there are great benefits when you wait to have sex in marriage, when you don't do it outside marriage. Statistics show that relationships where people waited till they were married were less likely to end in divorce. That's one good thing for waiting, to have sex until you get married. Your relationship have a firmer foundation. That's another advantage. When you focus on building your relationship and sex is not the focus, friendship becomes the glue in the relationship. Sex should be the icing on the marriage and not the cake. As friendship is established, trust develops in your relationship. You will not question if your partner has your best interest at heart or not. You can trust your judgment more. It's like if you have multiple relationships, you're not developing friendship, you're just in it for the act. You meet them, casually, and you get involved in a very casual relationship off and on. There's no way of telling that, the other partner has your best interest at heart. When you wait, you avoid sexually transmitted diseases, unwanted pregnancy, spiritually transmitted diseases, like no longer two, but one. And there are spiritual things that also transfer as well. I'm talking about demonic spirits that get transferred as well. Because sex is not just a physical act, it's a spiritual act as well. And you also prevent unwanted pregnancies and heartbreaks that can come from relationships just based on just having sex. And that usually results in a fractured soul. And that's why you find a lot of people have a lot of heartbreak emotionally. It's like they've attached and all of a sudden they come apart and they are really, really affected emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, socially, psychologically, and otherwise. God designed sex to be pure. The world is lust-based, and lust is about self and flesh, which leads to selfishness and sin against God, the author of marriage and the one who invents sex. I want to, conclude by looking at Solomon 7:10 in the Bible, Song of Solomon 7:10. I am my beloved's, and his desire is towards me. Desire and focus should solely be for your husband or your wife. Romans 12:2 says, and do not be conformed to this world, to the way of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. I hope that has helped you to throw light into, why it is advantageous or beneficial to wait to have sex when you are married.
Want to ask Eve a question? Send an email to everydayquestionswitheve@gmail.com and we'll try our best to answer the questions every Wednesday on the show. Thanks for watching.